and welcome to Narayana IAS. I'm Pratik, your faculty for Daily News Analysis. Now students, in today's session, we'll discuss 5 most important topics from the Hindu and the Indian Express. So let's have a quick brief about the topics that we shall be discussing in today's session. The first article we have taken from Hindu, page number 8. Now in this article, we are going to understand the disturbance in the Balochistan region and its implication on the Indian security as well as the geopolitical aspiration of our country. The second article we have taken from Indian Express, page number 9. Now in this article, we are going to understand the two defense related agreements signed between India and the USA, which will further reinforce the strategic partnership between both the nations. The third article we have taken from Hindu, page number 6. Now in this article, we are going to understand about the caste census and the implication of delaying the census. In the fourth article, we have taken from Hindu, page number 12. In this, we are going to understand how the Education Ministry has redefined the word literacy under New India Literacy Program. And the fifth article we are taken from Indian Express, page number 9. Now in this, we are going to understand about the unified lending interface. So these are the 5 topics that we shall be discussing, and finally we shall be discussing few practice questions so that you understand the type of questions UPSC will ask in the UPSC examination. So students, let's get started. Students, the title of the first topic is Unrest in the Balochistan region. Now, in this article, we are going to understand the unrest in the Balochistan region and its implication on the Indian security and the geopolitical aspiration. You can map this under GS paper 3, linkages between development and spread of extremism in Balochistan region and the security challenges and the management in the bordering regions. Now, let's go through a previous question asked in the year 2013. The question: the protests in the Shahbag Square in Dhaka in Bangladesh reveal a fundamental split in society between the nationalists and the Islamic forces. So the protests in Bangladesh could lead to a problem or security problem along the India-Bangladesh border, which means the developments happening in our neighboring country can have an implication on our country, and that's the reason a question can be asked in the UPSC examination. Now, what is the context? The context is that Balochistan, which is a very unique and historical identity, right, has been witnessing protests, violent protests in the recent few weeks. Now, Balochistan is a region which covers 3 countries. So, this is the Balochistan region. It covers Iran, Pakistan and Afghanistan, right? So, this highlighted portion is the Baloch region, and the people who live in this region are the Baloch ethnic people. Now these protests in Balochistan are organized by the Baloch Yakhti Committee, right, in the Gwadar port city. Now, this committee has been criticizing the Pakistani state or the army of Pakistan. Why? Because they say that the Pakistani army is violating the human rights of people, which means they are torturing the Baloch people, they are killing the Baloch people. At the same time, what the Baloch people say is that the Pakistani state, they exploit the resources in the Balochistan region. They do not extend any benefit of the resources to the Baloch people. They do not give any benefits. They only exploit the resources. At the same time, basic amenities are lacking in the Baloch region. Basic amenities like healthcare, education, infrastructure projects, etc. And these protests have led to violent clashes between the Baloch people, the people who are protesting, and the Pakistani army. Now, the government has responded to this protest by crackdowns, and they are blocking many key towns like the Gwadar town and the Quetta town. Now, this has led to price rise of essential goods like food and medicine. This is the context. Now, let us try to understand about the Balochistan. Now, Balochistan is the largest province of Pakistan in terms of the land area, but it is the least populated. As I told you, it is home to the ethnic Baloch people, and these people, they inhabit the area in Iran as well as the Afghanistan. Now, despite the region being rich in natural resources, the people or the region is underdeveloped and neglected region. It's rich in natural resources like oil and natural gas. Despite the fact that this area is rich in natural resources, this Baloch region is one of the least developed region in the world. This region has been historically marginalized. So the people of Balochistan, what are they demanding? They are demanding greater autonomy, which means they should be responsible for the decisions they take in the Baloch region. At the same time, better economic opportunities for the people of Baloch. These are the major demands of the people of Baloch from the Pakistani state. Now, let us try to understand the uprising in Balochistan, especially the historical and the political context. Now, the roots of unrest in Balochistan can be traced back to the period when the British withdrew from the Indian subcontinent in 1947. So, the British withdrew from the Indian subcontinent. They gave the option to the Kingdom of Balochistan, three options. One, either join India or Pakistan or remain independent. Now, the ruler of Balochistan, he preferred to remain independent. But next year in 1948, Pakistan conquered, annexed the Balochistan region by the use of military power. And since then, the people of Baloch are protesting against the Pakistani state for discriminating against the Baloch people, and this has led to violent clashes between the Baloch people and the Pakistani army. Now, let us also try to understand how the unrest in Balochistan could affect the Indian security. Talking about the CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Now, this is one of the significant economic corridor or the infrastructure project launched by China. This CPEC, it connects the Chinese Xinjiang region with the Gwadar port in Pakistan, that is Balochistan. Now, this is the CPEC. It connects the western part of China to the Gwadar port, which is in Pakistan. Now, Gwadar is a port located in the Balochistan province. Now, it is said that this CPEC is going to be a game changer for the economy of Pakistan. But it has raised concerns for our country. The first is the sovereignty issue. Now, if you see that CPEC is going through Pakistan occupied Kashmir, we claim that the entire Pakistan or the entire Kashmir belongs to our country. Which means as the CPEC is passing through POK, which means we say that this CPEC is violating the territorial integrity of our country. This is the first issue or concern that we are facing. The second is with respect to strategic threat. Now, given that China is constructing a port in Gwadar, what China will do is they will get their commercial ships as well as their navy ships, which means there will be more and more involvement of China in the Gwadar port, which is very close to the Indian coastal region, which means it will pose a security threat to our country. In the name of commercial trade with Pakistan, what China is going to do is China is going to bring their military ships, submarines to keep a check on India or to encircle India. And this will pose a big security risk to our country. Now, what is India's stand on the Balochistan region? Now, India has never interfered in Pakistan's internal affairs. But in 2016, during the Independence Day speech, the Prime Minister of our country highlighted the problems the Baloch people are facing. Right? Now, the Prime Minister stated that the Pakistani army or the Pakistani government is harassing, violating the human rights of people. The Indian state want the Pakistan state to address the concerns of the Baloch people. Now, the Indian state is advocating the problems faced by the Baloch people. But the point is, no matter what, India advocates that only diplomatic and political solution can resolve the issues the people of Baloch are facing. Right? Now, talking about the Indian concerns. One, India, like many other countries, right, has the concern about the violation of human rights in Balochistan, which we had discussed in the first slide. The second, ethnic and nationalist movement. Now, the rise of the ethnic and nationalist movements in Balochistan, and these people are seeking autonomy and independence. Now, this could have broader regional implication which could affect our own security. How? Let's say India is supporting the cause of Baloch people. That is, India is fighting for the independence of Baloch. They are asking for greater autonomy or independence from Pakistan. So, if we support such ethnic and nationalist movement, we also have to support such similar movements in our country. For example, there are secessionist groups in Kashmir, right? There are groups in India's northeast, then the Naxal region. So, if we support such ethnic movement, we also need to support similar such movement in our country, which means we have to grant them greater autonomy to the people or groups in northeast or Kashmir or the Naxal region, or we have to give them independence. That's the reason India is not explicitly supporting the independence of Baloch people from Pakistan. I hope you understood the reason. Then, external involvement. As I told you, this project, the CPEC project, is going to be very, very important for the Pakistan's economy, as well as this economic corridor is important for China, which means more and more players will be involved in the CPEC economic corridor and the construction of Gwadar port, which will only increase the security risk to our country. So, these are some of the concerns that have been highlighted in this article. So, what is the way forward? Now, in order to resolve the issue the Baloch people are facing, the state of Pakistan has to adopt a multifaceted approach, which means the Pakistani state has to ensure that there is economic development in the region. At the same time, the resources that the Pakistan state uses, the benefits of that resources should also be given to the people of Baloch. And most importantly, in order to resolve the issues between India and Pakistan, diplomatic efforts is the only way, only hope through which resolves or issues between India and Pakistan can be resolved. So, these are the different dimensions explained in this article. I hope you understood each and every dimension that I've explained in this article, right? Students, the title of the next topic is Two New US-India Agreements, a Short History of Growing Defense Ties. Now, in this article, we are going to understand the defense cooperation between India and the US, and you can map this under GS paper 2. Now, a previous year question, what is the significance of India-US defense deals over the India-Russia defenses? Very, very important question. A similar such question can be asked in the UPSC examination. That's the reason we need to understand the deepening defense relation between India and the US. What is the context? The context is that recently India and USA have signed two defense related agreements. One is the Security of Supply Agreements, and the second one is the Memorandum of Agreement regarding the assignment of liaison officers. Now, this agreements, it represents the deepening defense relations between the India and the US. It represents how the defense ties between both the countries is getting rich year on year. It reinforces the strategic partnership between both the nations. So, here we'll understand the defense cooperation between both the countries. Now, what is a Security of Supply Agreement? It is non-binding bilateral agreement. It is not binding. It facilitates priority access to defense-related goods and service between India and the US. It is designed to ensure that during periods of heightened demand or emergencies or conflict, the participating countries, that is India and USA, can secure necessary defense supplies efficiently. Which means, let's say for example, India is fighting a war against China, right? Now here, when we are fighting a war against China, we would need defense-related equipments, the sophisticated defense-related equipments. Now, in such case, that is during emergency, USA will ensure now that India gets the sophisticated technology or defense-related equipments to fight against China. This is the essence of this agreement. Focus on these keywords. Priority access to defense related goods and services. Key features, priority delivery, which means whenever India will call USA, USA will make sure that they deliver defense related equipments to our country. Reciprocal support. It is not only USA will help India. Let's say, for example, US is fighting against North Korea or China in the Indian Ocean region. In this case, India will ensure that USA gets defense related equipments that India has to the US. Supply chain resilience. This agreement will strengthen the resilience of defense supply chains, which means, let's say there's a war in West Asia, there's a war in Africa. Now, in such case, the defense supply chain might get affected. Here, this agreement will ensure or will strengthen the defense supply chains, which means India or USA will get defense related equipments without facing any obstruction or hindrance. The second agreement is the Memorandum of Agreement regarding assignment of liaison officers. The objective is to enhance information sharing and operational coordination between India and the US. And how this will be done? An Indian military officer will be stationed in the US, will be stationed at the US Special Operations Command, whose headquarters is located in Florida. Now see, what is the importance of information? Now let's say, for example, India is fighting a war against China. You need information. In order to tackle threat, you need information. How to get the information? With the help of satellites. Now USA has got the maximum number of satellites in the space, which means you need real-time information to tackle against the threat. In such case, the military officers stationed in USA will help India with the real-time information. Using this real-time information, we can tackle against our enemy. This is the importance of information. If you do not have information, how would you launch your missile attack? So you need information in terms of the latitude so that you can precisely attack your enemy. This is the importance of information sharing. Now see, the defense ties between India and USA have been evolving since the starting of the 21st century. For example, in the year 2002, General Security of Military Information Agreement was signed between both the countries to enhance military cooperation. Now here, both the countries committed to share classified information with each other. The second, in 2015, US and India had signed this framework for US-India defense relationship. In this, both the countries committed to deepen the defense cooperation. How? By transferring the technology, by undertaking joint exercises and counter-terrorism. Now, these are some of the very important agreements that India and USA have signed. Now, these agreements will be asked in the UPSC Prelims examination. For example, the first one is LIMOA. LIMOA means the Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. Now, this agreement will allow for reciprocal use of military bases for logistic support. Let's say, for example, India is fighting against Russia in the Indo-Pacific region. Now, when India or when US is fighting against Russia in the Indo-Pacific region, India will allow the military bases to US, which means all the military bases or the naval bases of a country will allow USA to use it. Similarly, India or USA will also allow India to access their ports or their bases. This is the advantage of LIMO. Second is Comcast. Here, communication will be established between the systems made in India and systems made in USA. Let's say, for example, India and USA are undertaking a joint operation against Pakistan. Now here, USA, they have got their own fighter jets. India, we have got their own fighter jets. Now here, communication need to be established. For that, they have sophisticated technology, and here the USA will help India in helping us get that sophisticated technology through which information or communication can be established. Very important. The third one is BECA, that is Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. Now, this agreement will help India to get the real-time information, geospatial information, the information that these satellites collect. And this will help India to access the latest or the real-time information. So, these are some of the very, very important defense agreements between India and the USA. Now, then the 2023 US-India Roadmap for Defense Industrial Cooperation. This roadmap outlines a strategic vision for co-production and co-development of defense technologies, which means defense technologies will be co-produced and co-developed by India and USA. For example, jet engines, unmanned, that is UAVs. These are the defense technologies both the countries are going to co-develop. It highlights the integration of the Indian defense industry into the global supply chains, which means Indian defense industry will be integrated into global supply chains. Then these are the two initiatives, the IndusX and ISET initiative. Indux, it aims to create a defense innovation bridge. In Index, there will be collaboration will be fostered in defense technology development and innovation, which means defense related technology will be developed. Second is ISET. Here, this US-India initiative on critical and emerging technology. This focuses on expanding the strategic technology partnership and defense industrial cooperation, emphasizing co-development and co-production, which means the essence of this agreement is that India and USA are going to co-develop and co-produce the latest technology related to defense equipments. So these are some of the initiatives that signify how the defense ties between India and USA is strengthening. But then there are some challenges. Now, the effectiveness of these initiatives would depend how it is implemented. So the implementation will face many challenges. For example, the industrial capabilities of a country, bureaucratic hurdles, and timely execution. Second, geopolitical sensitivities. The growing India-US defense ties will anger China and Russia. Now, we used to buy defense equipments from Russia. Russia has been replaced by USA now. We are taking or buying more defense-related equipments from the USA, which means that Russia and China might come close to fight against India and the USA. So here we have to maintain or balance our relation with USA and Russia. Russia is our age-old friend. We cannot ignore Russia. We cannot forget Russia for the way Russia has helped India post-independence. So here we have to maintain strategic balance between USA and Russia. And then supply chain dependencies. No matter what, whenever there are many conflicts, the supply chain would be hindered, and as a reason, both the countries have to ensure that there are no obstructions or hindrances in the supply chain, and both countries should get the defense related equipments as per their demand, right? So this is the article. I hope you understood all the defense related agreements between both the nations, right? Students, the title of the third topic is No More Delays. So in this article, we'll understand about the census and the caste census. You can map this under GS paper 1, Indian Society, Population and Associated Issues. So see, there's a question asked in the year 2009 about census, which means be prepared to expect a question about census in the UPSC examination. What is the context? The census was about to be undertaken in the year 2021. The last census was held in 2011. The next census was about to be held in 2021, but it was postponed because of pandemic. Now, this might further be delayed. Why? Because the government is saying that during the census, we are going to collect the information about the different castes as well. That's the reason it might take more time. What is census? Census, it is nothing but it is a process through which information about the population is collected. Simple. It's a nationwide exercise. It is held once in every 10 years. The Census Act of 1948, it provides a framework for undertaking census in our country. The first census was held in our country in the year 1881, and since then, census has been undertaken every once in 10 years once, right? What is a census? Now, the responsibility of conducting the census lies in the hands of the Office of the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner of India, which falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Very, very important for your prelims examination. Now, census is listed in the union list, which means only the union government can frame rules with respect to undertaking census. These are some information about census. Now, there are two phases of undertaking census. The first one is housing census. Here, the information and details of different houses is collected. For example, if the house is temporary or permanent, the amenities in the house, the assets. Then after the housing census is completed, after 6 to 8 months, the population is counted. During the second phase, information such as age, marital status, religion, mother tongue and other information is collected. These are the two processes, very, very important. First is the housing enumeration. The second one is the population enumeration. This is undertaken after 6 to 8 months after the housing census. Very important. Then the caste census. Now, this census, the information about different castes and communities is collected. The last comprehensive caste census was undertaken in the year 1931. Now, after independence, that is from 1951 to 2011, whenever census was undertaken, during the census, information about the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes was also collected, which means there was no separate caste census. During the census itself, information about different castes was collected. Different castes, which means only the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. But in the year 2011, socio-economic caste census was undertaken, where the information of OBCs, the other backward classes, was also collected, but it was not made public. Now, the government is again saying that we are not going to have a separate caste census. During the census, we shall have information about the different castes. This is the article. You need to know about the census and the caste census and few facts about it. That's it for your prelims examination. Students, the title of the next topic is Education Ministry defines literacy, full literacy in push for adult literacy. In this article, we will understand about literacy and full literacy and the New India Literacy Program. You can map this under GS paper 2 as well as GS paper 1. Now, previous question was asked in the year 2021. Has digital illiteracy, particularly in rural areas, coupled with lack of ICT, accessibility hindered socio-economic development? Which means a question on illiteracy will be asked in the UPSC examination. What is the context? The context is that the Ministry of Education under the Government of India has clarified or redefined the definition of literacy and full literacy. This the Government of India has done to promote adult literacy under the New India Literacy Program. Now, this is a 5-year program starting from the year 2022 to 2027. Very important point for your pre. Now, according to the ministry, literacy is defined as the ability to read, write and perform arithmetic operations like the basic mathematical operations. This also includes ability to understand and interpret. At the same time, it also includes digital literacy. Only then a person can be termed as a literate person. And a state can declare itself as a fully literate state when it achieves 95% literacy rate. Only then a state can declare itself as fully literate state, which means now to be a literate person, you also need to have or understand critical life-saving skills such as digital and financial literacy. Now, achieving this full literacy is very, very crucial. Why? Because today most of the work is done through digital platforms. For example, if you want to, let's say, get a passport, or many of the work in the government is done through the communication or let's say technology. And that's the reason it is very important for the people to know how to use technology or how to leverage the benefits of technology. And that's the reason being digitally literate is very, very important to declare yourself as a literate person. Now, there's a renewed push for achieving adult literacy under the New India Literacy Program. What is the goal? The goal is 1 crore learners annually who are above the age of 15 from all the states and union territories. This is the goal, to make a digitally literate to almost 1 crore people. The program is aimed at improving literacy among adults. Now, the program will focus on those adults who did not get formal education, right? And this New India Literacy Program aligns with national and international goals such as United Nations SDG, which includes inclusive and equitable quality education for all. Very, very important. So, see, these are the characteristics or features of the program which will be asked in the UPSC examination. So, this is one very, very important feature of the Act. Then, according to Census 2011, India faces a significant literacy challenge, with approximately 26 crore individuals above the age of 15 who are classified as non-literate. Now, in the year 2023, nearly 40 million adults took the foundational literacy and numeracy assessment, with about 36 million passing results, with a passing rate between 89 and 91. In 2024, around 35 million took the examination. Out of 35, 29 million people passed the examination. And this is under the new literacy program. And the Ministry of Education has allocated 160 crore to this new program. These are some of the important features of the New India Literacy Program. I hope you understood the topic. The title of the next topic is Unified Lending Interface. In this, we'll understand about the Unified Lending Interface launched by the Reserve Bank of India. You can map this under prelims as well as mains, GS paper 3, Indian economy. So, there was a question asked in the year 2018 about the digital payments. In the context of the same, a question can be asked on Unified Lending Interface. Now, a new platform called the UPI or ULI is to be launched by the Reserve Bank of India. The purpose of ULI is to enable frictionless disbursement of credit. For example, we know how UPI has revolutionized retail payment. For example, whenever you go to a shop, you scan the QR code and you make the payment. Now, this unified lending interface is going to revolutionize the credit structure or credit process. For example, whenever you go to banks, in order to get loans or let's say credit, you have to fill many forms, you have to take the permission from many departments, and then you get the credit. But now, this unified lending interface is going to streamline the entire process, through which the credit process is going to be seamless and very, very easy. As of now, it's in the pilot stage. Based on the observation and the result of the pilot stage, the RBI governor might decide if it has to be rolled out nationwide. And this, in case or if the ULI is rolled out nationwide, it is going to revolutionize the lending space in our country. What is the purpose of ULI? To enhance the efficiency of lending process. How? By reducing the cost. Which means, for example, this is going to benefit small and rural borrowers. Which means anyone who is in need of money will get credit in quick time. So, by digitizing access to diverse data resources, ULI is expected to meet the large unmet demand for credit, especially in sectors like agriculture and MSMEs. So, people who are working in agriculture and MSMEs, they require quick funds. Now, through this ULI, these people will get quick funds so that they can utilize for the growth of their business or agriculture. Now, what is this new Trinity? ULI is part of India's broader embrace of digital public infrastructure, which means we are making innovation in the financial services. We are embracing a digital infrastructure. New Trinity refers to the combination of three major digital infrastructure, which are this. First one is Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile, that is Aadhaar. Second is UPI, through which you make the payments, and third one is the unified lending interface. So please remember about this term New Trinity, very important point for your prelims examination. I hope you understood the article, right? Students, now it's time to discuss few practice questions. Question number 1. Consider the following statements about security of supply agreement. It mandates reciprocal, that is two ways priority support between the signatory nations for defense related goods and service, that is India and the US. Yes. India is the first country to sign the SOSA with the US. Wrong. The first one is correct. The second one is incorrect. Why? Because this agreement has been signed with many NATO countries like France, Germany, Japan, South Korea, UK, etc. So, option E is the correct answer. Next, this is about the unified lending interface. It is designed to enable frictionless disbursement of credit by streamlining the flow of information required for lending. This one is correct, right? It aims to particularly benefit smaller and rural borrowers by improving their access to credit. Yes, this one is also correct. We have discussed this in the article. Third, it will function independently and is not part of any broader digital infrastructure initiatives. Wrong. This is part of broader digital infrastructure. For example, we have the JAM, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, mobile, UPI, and third one is ULI. So this one is incorrect. 1 and 2, option A is the correct answer. Next, about the census. Census in India is a nationwide exercise conducted every 5 years. Wrong. It is conducted once in 10 years. Incorrect. The first census was conducted in 1881 under the British rule. Yes. The responsibility lies in the hands of Office of the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner under the MHA. Yes, this one is also correct. It is conducted under the Census Act 1948 and is listed under the Union List in the 7th schedule. Yes, even this one is correct. 2, 3, 4, option B is the correct answer. All these points were discussed in the article. So, in case you are not able to attempt these questions, go back to the article, right? COMCASA between India and USA deals with logistics support. No, logistics support is taken care by LIMOA. Sharing of geospatial intelligence, it is BECA. Secure communication between the military forces, this is COMCASA. Yes. So, option C is the correct answer for question number 4. So, when it comes to LIMOA, BECA, COMCASA, just try to understand the essence or the purpose of these agreements, right? Now, this is about the New India Literacy Program. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. Yes. Critical life skills is one among the 5 components. Yes, critical life skills like digital literacy and the financial literacy. Yes. All the non-literate above 15 years of age can avail the benefits of the scheme. Yes. All the 3 options are correct, which means option D is the correct answer for question number 5. Now, let us discuss a means practice question. Analyze the historical and geopolitical factors contributing to the Balochistan conflict. How does the unrest in Balochistan impact India's strategic interest, particularly in the context of CPEC? Very important question. So, in the introduction, you have to mention about the recent disturbance in the Balochistan region and how this might spill over to India or how this might affect India's security and geopolitical aspirations. Then in the body, you can mention about the historical factor, right? That is, Balochistan was annexed by Pakistan in 1948. Before that, Balochistan was given an option to either join India, Pakistan or remain independent. They chose independent. Pakistan occupied in 1948. Then you can mention how Balochistan or unrest in Balochistan can impact Indian security. For example, you can mention in this context about the CPEC. Now, CPEC, this corridor passes through the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, thus violating India's territorial sovereignty. Second, this corridor connects China's western part and the Gwadar port, which means China will bring in their commercial and navy ships in the Indian Ocean region. Now, this will complicate security situation in the Arabian Sea, right? At the same time, given how this project is important for Pakistan's economy and the importance of this CPEC for China's geopolitical ambition, China will invest massively to secure this particular region. This might further complicate the security situation in this particular region. And then finally, in the conclusion, you can mention that in order to reduce or resolve the tension in the Balochistan region, it is very important that Pakistan focuses on the economic development of the Balochistan region, and at the same time, it is very important for India and Pakistan to continue or to reignite or restart the diplomatic support or diplomatic negotiation in order to resolve any issues that India and Pakistan are facing. This is how you frame the means-based answer, right? I hope students you understood all the 5 articles and the questions that we have discussed. Students, if you think that the DNA session is helping you in your UPSC preparation, then please do like, share and support Narayana IAS. Thank you so much.